From the field to the film room to the war room, we've got you covered every step of the way as the road to the draft starts right now. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Armchair Scouts. I am your host, Shane Haff. You can follow me on Twitter at ShaneHaffNFL. And I'm joined today by my co-host and fellow draft enthusiast, Dives. Give him a follow on Twitter at Mr. Crockpot, and be sure to check out his podcast, Party on Broad. Dives, how you doing?
Doing well, man. Let's go.
All right. I'm also joined by the true host of Party on Broad. It is Ryan. Give him a follow on Twitter at Philly Sports PSA. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to talk about, sadly, the last college game of the year. But in saying that, the work does not stop, and we turn right into full-time draft nerds.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are here tonight to briefly break down and preview the national championship game. It is Monday night. It feels crazy that we're through 3 rounds of the playoffs and we're finally here. There's only 2 teams remaining. Notre Dame, who beat Penn State 27-24 in the semifinal, and then Ohio State, who beat Texas 28-24. So we're going to preview this game for you guys. We're going to run through some prop bets that Dives came up with, and we'll see where everybody comes down on this game. And so before we get there, well, I guess we can sort of just fold it into the preview. You're kind of, if you had big takeaways from the semifinal game. So Ryan, I'll throw it to you first. What are your initial thoughts when you look at Notre Dame against Ohio State?
Yeah, listen, I think we'd all be fooling ourselves if anybody expected Ohio State to be here and to be here the way that they have run through these playoffs here, defeating a very good Tennessee team, which all of us had picked Tennessee to win, and then moving on, beating the previously unbeaten Oregon Ducks. And then, handling Texas. So it's certainly right in everybody's mind to kind of think, why not continue the train for Ohio State, who clearly is, again, this is a team that we all thought was going to be like this from the very beginning of the season. Had its, ups and downs, certainly. But now finally playing at the right time and made it to the playoffs, playing the way they should have. So, it's just funny what a difference a month can make, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest thing that my initial thing, I think, is a year ago, neither of these teams would have been in the playoff.
Right.
And there's a fine line with that. Like you don't want to make the playoffs so big the regular season doesn't matter. And I mean, there was always an element before you went to a playoff at all. And even in the 4-team playoff, it's like every game was like death if you lose it, because if you lose one game, like you can go 11-1, 12-1, and you just might not make it unless you're an SEC team, and then you're going to make it anyways. But, you just live and die with every game in a way that you don't in the NFL, because the NFL has such an expansive playoff. And I think there's like a balance you want to try to walk there, where you don't want to make the regular season unimportant. But at the end of the day, neither of these teams would have been there under last year's system. And so I think, hopefully this is kind of a good spot. I don't want them to go too crazy expanding it more. But I'm glad that we have a system like this, because I don't even know what the matchup would be if we just went with the 4-team, considering all of those teams lost in the quarterfinals. But Dives, as you look at this matchup, like what kind of sticks out to you initially?
Yeah, just going back to what you said, I think the college football playoff is working. I think the foundation for amazing football is all there. There's a lot of kinks that need to still be ironed out, and that's the pros. The negatives, I hate what's going on with the transfer portal and the NIL thing happening. It's horrible. Literally 2 sides of the spectrum there. But what's happening right now with the college football playoff is awesome. So looking back at Ohio State versus Texas, I thought Texas really battled That I thought they gave up more of an effort than I expected. I still called it a 2-score game, a 2-touchdown win for Ohio State. That's nearly what the results were. But I give credit to Texas. It was a game in the fourth quarter, and I thought their defense really battled. I haven't seen Jeremiah Smith handled that well in a long time. And that's kind of where we're going to start off with the national championship. It is the Ohio State explosive offense versus the Notre Dame defense. This is a battle of strengths. Can Notre Dame's defense find a way to slow down Ohio State's high-powered offense that can hit you on every single level? The Irish ranked number 1 nationally in defensive success rate against the pass, limiting teams to 14.3 points a game and 4.6 yards per snap. And they were among the best, if not the best, in not allowing big plays. Enter Ohio State, who can hit you in every single way, leading off with Will Howard, who might be the most improved player, Ryan, last few weeks. When it comes to efficiency, when it comes to making big plays, he's been the guy. He's been ultra efficient lately when he drops back to pass. He's got a deep set of receivers to target. And Jeremiah Smith, man, he's had 1 target or 1 catch last week. He's the most explosive player, arguably, in college football, bar none. But the guy that I have circled on this matchup is Emeka Egbuka. This is his game. This is his time. This is his moment. He's a lock for round 1. He's a lead in his own right. And his ability to dominate in traffic in the middle of the field, create separation is all there. He's an elite ball tracker down the field. I love Xavier Watts and that secondary for Notre Dame. They are certifiably elite. They rank first nationally in passing success rate, EPA per dropback, completion rate. But at the end of the day, man, I'm expecting Emeka Egbuka to go off for like 9 catches for 150 yards. That is where I expect Ohio State to really run through this thing. On the other end, you look at Ohio State's run defense versus Notre Dame's rushing attack. If Notre Dame's going to have any shot at upsetting the Buckeyes, they have to find a way to cement their will in the trenches against an aggressive Ohio State front 7 that's giving up less than 3 yards per carry. Only one team, which was the Michigan Wolverines, I think went over 100 yards on this defense. And Ryan, that feels like an eternity ago. Like I don't even remember that game, to be honest. Like like you said, like a month or two what a difference it can make for the look of an organization. Ryan Day is probably arguably the biggest winner in this entire scheme here because he was on the hot seat. And Notre Dame's been struggling to kind of run the football. Aside from Jeremiah Love, who's battling injury, he had that 98-yard touchdown run. This is a Notre Dame offense that's only averaging like 3 yards a carry throughout the college football playoff. If you take that one run out of their data. So, you look at the Ohio State front 7, Jack Sawyer made one of the all-time plays in NCAA history. If I'm being honest, the scoop and score, the strip sack and touchdown, that was an all-time play. You got guys like Cody Simons, who is just a tackling machine, living in the backfield. They have moved Caleb Downs more to playing in the box, playing closer to the line of scrimmage, and that has he's elite as it gets. We all talk about Malachi Starks out of Georgia being a top 10 talent. Caleb Downs will be the same caliber when he is draft eligible. So for me, I'm going Ohio State 31, Notre Dame 21, and I'm being generous there. I think this is Ohio State's moment.
All right. Ryan, what about you? Which way are you leaning in this game? How do you expect to see it play out?
Yeah, listen, everything that I've said is pretty much on the money here, and it pains me to say it. I'm not a big Ohio State fan. They certainly do produce themselves quite the array of NFL talent, and I think they will certainly continue to do that, especially with those on this squad here. But you cannot underestimate when a team finally figures it all out and at the right time and starts mauling the other top teams in the nation. Now, everybody certainly wants to, talk about how, Notre Dame, they're on what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13-game win streak. Sorry, I had to do quick math there.
It wasn't that quick.
No, it wasn't that quick. But honestly, in their games, who did they really beat? They snuck by Louisville. They beat Navy, who I think they were just being generous, ranking them 24th, and Army. Like, come on, Navy and Army being ranked? Like, get out of here. Outside of that, they played. Oh boy, they played Indiana. All right, they suck. Their only two valid wins are the last two wins in Georgia and Penn State, which, let's be honest, Penn State kind of handed them that game. Drew Aller's decision to throw that pass won them the game. And who knows what would happen in overtime here. But so while, again, I understand the fact that they're coming in not having lost in forever, they really only have 2 or 3 signature wins, where Notre Dame have 3 signature wins in the past, 3 weeks, and really good wins, not just squeaking by people. So unfortunately, like I said, it pains to say me, Ohio State runs away with this one. I think this is like a 38-17 kind of throbbing that they're going to put on Notre Dame. And, when it comes down to relying on Notre Dame, if they're going to be down in this game, they're going to have to rely on Riley Leonard to throw the ball. That's kind of where I falter a little bit in their ability to come back, because while, all right, he's okay at throwing the ball, that's not his game 100%. It's the threat of the run. Well, if he's passing the ball, pin your ears back, boys, and go after him. And I don't think he might survive that with the talent that Ohio State has.
The most valuable player on the field for Notre Dame is the health of Jeremiah Love. He only had 11 carries in the previous game. He's been battling injury. If he's healthy and ready to go, I would love to see Notre Dame go heavy Jeremiah Love in this one. He's right there with Ohio State's playmakers when it comes to explosiveness and home run hitter. Jeremiah Love is by far the Notre Dame's biggest playmaker on offense. And if they get him the ball early and often and he's healthy, that might change the landscape of this one. But I just don't know where he's at right now.
True.
Yeah, you look at, Notre Dame's not going to have the talent edge in this game. If they're going to win, they need to do what they did to Penn State, which is win in key situations. They were 11-17 on third downs against Penn State, and they only allowed Penn State to convert on 3 of 11 third downs. Like, you're going to need that late down. You're going to have to win in the red zone. Like, you're going to have to win in all of those key moments, and it is a fine needle to thread. Would imagine they'll try to take Jeremiah Smith out of the picture in a similar way that Texas did. Texas held him to only 1 reception for 3 yards. So watching what they try to do to stop him and what Ohio State tries to do to get him the ball is probably one of the more fascinating things for me to watch. But let's get into our picks. Dibes drew up some prop bets and some picks, and so let's run through these. Dibes, you said it earlier, but I don't remember what you said. I don't know if you remember what you said. What was your score prediction?
Yeah, I'm going to go 31-21.
31-21, Ohio
31-21.
State.
Emeka Egbuka is my player of the game for the reasons you just said. They're going to try to take out Jeremiah Smith, and I think Egbuka has a huge game. So give me Ohio State winning 31-21.
All right, 31-21 Ohio State for Dibes. Ryan, what'd you have, like 38-17 or something like that?
Yeah, 38-17. I'm going to go with Will Howard as my player of the game, if only to shove it in Dibes' face.
All right, I will take I'm going to take 31-20. No, wait, that's way too close to Dibes.
That's very Price is Right of you.
Yeah, that's very close to Dibes' score. Give me 34-20 then. We'll make it just a little bit different, I guess. I think Ohio State will win as well. And I mean, are we doing the thing where there's no repeat picks?
I don't care. Sure.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, I mean, I was gonna say Will Howard because it's just always the quarterback in a
then
championship game.
Absolutely.
Like they're always gonna get the MVP in that situation. But if we're picking different guys just to talk differently, then I'll give it to Jeremiah Smith. I think they'll try to make a concerted effort to get him going. And so I will take the over on Jeremiah Smith receiving yards at 99.5. I think he'll get over that in this one. What about you, Ryan?
Same. Yeah, I think they're certainly going to try. But this kid is special, and there's not a lot that you can do to stop this kid. You can only hope to slow him down. So I think he'll get over 100. All
right, Dibes, what about you?
I'm going to go under. Again, I think Egbuka, he's probably going to be just a little bit under that. But I think Egbuka gets a decent amount of targets in this one. And I'm not shitting on Notre Dame. I think they're a good team. They're just not an elite team. And but where they are elite in that secondary. So I will give them respect there. So under for Jeremiah Smith.
We really need Mark here to defend Notre Dame.
I know.
From you guys.
I know, right? Isn't it funny how Mark's not here and his damn team is in the national championship game? I mean, come on.
All right, let's go over under Xavier Watts turnovers at 0.5. Ryan, what do you have?
Yikes. I'm going to go under.
So this could be like forcing a fumble recovery, interception, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna go under.
All right, Dibes, what do you have?
Over, man. Over. Give me over.
I'll take the under.
I think Howard's been very good with the ball, so that certainly limits his opportunities.
All right, over under total touchdowns from Riley Leonard. The line's at 1.5. I'll take the under. Give me the under. I think he gets one. Ryan?
I'll go over. I have kind of a feeling he's going to throw one and run one.
All right, Dibes?
Same. Over.
All right, over under sacks for Ohio State, Dibes. 3.5.
I got to pound the over. This is one of the biggest matchups in favor of Ohio State. Notre Dame is missing their tackle, Anthony Knapp, I think his name is. And we watched JT Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer just rain down during the college football playoff. Give me over.
All right. Ryan, what do you have?
Yeah, it's an over. And a very good Texas offensive line, mind you. They made them look silly.
It's worth noting that only one time this season has Riley Leonard been sacked 3 times, and he's never been sacked more than 3 times. Oh. And that one time was against Penn State. He was sacked 3 times. But give me the under. Give me the under.
Well, Penn State does have a good D line and a good pass rush, but Ohio State has a better one.
Yeah. Okay, over under rushing touchdowns from Ohio State at 2.5. What do you have, Ryan?
Ooh. I'm going to go under. I think they get only 2.
All right. Dibes?
I'm right there with Ryan. I think Ohio State kind of has figured it out by using the pass to set up the run, going heavy with Ibuka and Jeremiah Smith during this college football playoff. And that's really opened things up for big runs from Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins. Give me the slight under.
I've got the under as well.
Okay.
Over under defensive touchdowns combined. Both teams combined at 1.5. Give me the under.
Yeah, under.
Two defensive touchdowns seems a little
wild.
It's a little crazy for my taste. What do you got, Dibes?
I might have went crazy with this one. Should we make it 0.5?
Probably.
Does that change your answer at all, Shane?
Probably not, but it should probably be 0.5. I'm guessing.
All right, let's make it 0.5. The reason I say that is Notre Dame and Ohio State, they're both elite at takeaways.
You should make it non-offensive touchdowns to get some special teams exposure in there too. I'm still taking the under, but
same.
All right, I'm going over. Give me the over. Someone's going to get a touchdown.
Yeah, got to, right?
It's got to.
All right, over under Riley Leonard rushing yards at 39.5. The tricky thing with that is the stupid thing that college football does where a sack counts as negative rushing yardage.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate it every year when I start trying to compile stats for the draft. Still, though, I'll take over. What do you have, Ryan?
What is it, 39.5? I mean, he only had 35 technically versus I still think he goes over. Even with him getting sacked 4 times, I still think he's going to run the ball more.
Yeah, he has been over that number once in the playoffs, and he was over it quite frequently during the regular season. So take that for what it's worth. Dibes, what do you have?
The only way Notre Dame has a chance at winning this game is this has to be over. This has to be a heavy RPO Riley Leonard game where he's getting chunk yards, QB design runs, things like that.
Confuse the defense.
Yes, that has to be over. I'm going over.
All right. So there you have it, guys. Our national championship game preview and some of our picks for the game. Hope you guys enjoy the game next Monday night. Hopefully you're watching it after, basking in the glory of an Eagles divisional round win. Maybe you flip on some college football. You get to watch this game. You hear some guys that maybe their names now, but names you'll definitely know as we get closer to the draft. And this show will start ramping up to the draft after the NFL season is over. We'll start getting out our positional rankings, all of that sort of stuff, just like we did last year on the BGN radio feed. So you guys be sure to follow along with the journey to the draft. We'll start getting big into draft scouting over the next month or two. Until then, thank you guys for joining us for this episode of the Armchair Scouts. If you enjoy the show, hit that subscribe button so you get all the shows on the Eagles Pinpull Network feed. You can check us all out on Twitter. I am at Shane Half NFL. Dibes is at Mr. Crockpot. Ryan is at Philly Sports PSA. And we will catch you guys next time.